It's for all my grown women out there. I can't wait till...
Hey everybody, my name is Wyatt and I'm Ferda Tunes, and today we are talking about Beyoncé, specifically my personal connections with her music and the memories it's given me. I do this series to give a more personal touch to the music that we all love, and I strongly encourage you to share your stories, memories, whatever in the comments below. Now, this is a pretty big task, so I could start from the beginning, hearing Destiny's Child songs growing up. I was born in '98, so really there are so many hits that feel like core memories to me. So much so that when I finally went through Destiny's Child's albums semi-recently, which we'll get to, I found myself baffled hearing some songs that slipped so far back into my psyche I almost completely forgot they existed, after already realizing that they had hits just like that from my childhood that I still bumped. Say My Name, Bills, 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 Bootylicious, like come on, like whether it was my sister blasting them all the time or hearing them on the radio, they were ingrained in a deep, dancing part of my brain that unfortunately fell asleep for so many years as a teenager. We'll talk more on Destiny's Child later, but I was still only 5 to 8 years old when Beyoncé really started exploding as a solo star. And then again, like Crazy in Love, Naughty Girl, Baby Boy. Like, come on, we all know that there is no possible way that you hadn't heard of Beyoncé. It's been like this for over 20 years. I can definitely say I always enjoyed her stuff, having dance parties with my sister when I barely even knew how old I was. Destiny's Child and stuff just like that brought out the danciest kid in me. Self-esteem and confidence just burst through in a way that I didn't even realize I couldn't fathom when I was that age. I no longer cared about what anyone thought. I just slayed. So yeah, I always liked her stuff, but I was so young, there was just no way it was gonna stay with me the whole time as much as it stuck with me for me to rediscover and love even more later in life. So again, obviously I had this vague idea of Beyoncé in my head, but I was just so much more into Pokemon than music at the time. And when I did first really start getting into music, it was rock and roll and then full-blown metal from like grade 5 to 8. Now, when Beyoncé really started piquing my interest as a teenager was in 2013, and I think some of you know where I'm going with this. Like any other night back then, me and the boys are playing Grand Theft Auto 5. And midnight just rolls right by. Before you know it, it's 3 in the morning. And I remember around that time just starting to get, alright, I just checked Twitter real quick, and it's a fuck fest. Beyoncé, everything. It was unavoidable. I thought, oh, word? Like, I started reading, she dropped an entire fully ready album, music videos for every song, literally just poof, out of nowhere. And I remember thinking like, wow, like that's fucking sick, honestly. And then I just kind of went back to playing, went about my life as a, I was in grade 9 or 10 at the time. Some of you know in high school I was only listening to rap music. But god damn it if I didn't slap myself later in life for not immediately or the next day diving into this album, because I loved Drunk in Love and Partition, hearing them on the radio in the next couple months, years. So when I finally did go back and check out the full album, it was probably 2015-ish, I thought, this is dope. This is a great album. Not my kind of thing at the time, but of course I could appreciate it. And 2016 rolls around, and quite literally the exact same thing happens with her Lemonade surprise drop. I'm playing Xbox with the homies. I check Twitter, I see nothing but wild news about Beyoncé. Instead, this time, it wasn't just, oh, she dropped a whole album with music videos and everything out of the blue again. Oh, that's crazy. It was, oh my god, Jay-Z cheated on Beyoncé? And she's exposing this all through this surprise, like, this movie album that is literally just shattering the fabric of love and reality? Like, just shocking news, period. But the way it was presented, I mean, oh my god. I'm doing my very best to just not go on tangents about every song or album I mention because, man, okay. So anyways, that week, I dove the fuck in, and Christ, I immediately knew I loved it and I thought it was a masterpiece and a half, but I definitely did not know that later in life I would think this is one of the best albums ever made. Again, it kind of still just fell back on me around that time. A lot was happening in 2016. I was graduating, and admittedly, I was a tad more enthralled in Kanye's album at the time, Frank Ocean's album, Kendrick's album, even still from the previous year. So it wasn't until about 2019, 2020 until I was really exposed to all that Beyoncé is. I met the love of my life, and she is by far the biggest Beyoncé stan I will ever meet, and she wouldn't stop talking about Homecoming. Back when we first started chilling alone in her basement night after night, you know, what do they call it, like the honeymoon phase, like. So I said, I'm down, like, let's do it. One night we dive into Homecoming, and of course, do I even have to say, I'm blown the fuck away in every sense of the word. We've watched it at least 6 times together in full since then. It's immaculate. It's one of the best things I maybe have ever seen. And I think we can pinpoint this as the exact moment where I became a full-blown fan of Beyoncé, soon to be stan. I'll always be a bit intimidated to call myself a part of the Beehive. I'm a bit of an honorary member, I'd say. The following months after seeing Homecoming for the first time is when I really started to discover even more how immaculate Lemonade was. Going back to the self-titled album from 2013, realizing that was a whole-ass masterpiece as well. I actually got the self-titled album on vinyl for my girl for, I think, her first birthday with me, and I had never seen even close to as much stuff packed into a vinyl package. DVDs, booklets, posters, it was unbelievable, and we proceeded to watch all of the music videos, the full visual album. Something I never really experienced, except maybe with Frank Ocean's Endless, but the visuals on there aren't exactly exciting. And again, I am blown away, literally in disbelief this time. Realizing how long she's been doing it and reaching countless peaks throughout her career, me living through multiple without paying enough attention to really appreciate the genius, hard work, and creativity behind it all. And then by the time I listened to B-Day off of my girlfriend's recommendation, I was overwhelmed. I still think this album is not only top 3B, but the absolute peak perfection of that 2000s pop and R&B sound. By that point, I realized nobody was ever really messing with B. Here is where I admit it starts to get a bit hazy. Obviously, she never left our rotation after all of this, but I listened to a lot of stuff, and this was also around the time I was starting the Ferda Tunes channel and podcast was going crazy. So naturally, or stupidly, it took me a while to check out 4 and Dangerously in Love and I Am Sasha Fierce. So 4 was definitely a grower for me. I always thought the highs were amazing, but I didn't really see the vision or feel the vibe right away for songs like School in Life, Dance for You, and even Party I wish I liked more than I did when I first heard it. But rest assured, the whole album grew on me. Countdown is extraordinary fun, I Care is heart-wrenchingly gorgeous, and Love on Top is straight up Michael Jackson Thriller level quality song. I think the whole album is fantastic, and there's only a small handful of moments that don't really work for me. Next up was her debut solo album, and it's definitely my least listened to Beyoncé album personally. It's just very spotty to me. Obviously the highs are still some of her best ever. It's not like she started off on the wrong foot or anything. She dove into superstardom with Crazy in Love and stuck the landing. Maybe I'm just so obsessed with B-Day that maybe I expected a bit more out of Dangerously in Love. Again, it took me a while to get to there and fully listen to it. And maybe the first 3 tracks are just too fucking great. These 3 are all up there with the Destiny's Child songs I was talking about earlier. Man, I remember busting it down and throwing ass to Naughty Girl when I was like 6 years old. This is also around the time I listened to my first full Destiny's Child album, Writings on the Wall. I remember me and my girl were just cleaning up the house and I just tossed it on. And I don't really know what I expected, but track for track, this thing's a masterpiece. I think it sparked with my girl playing me Bugaboo, and I had never heard that one, and I was floored by how hard that shit goes. What a banger. And then again, most recently, I Am Sasha Fierce, which I wish was a bit more consistent, but still, I was pretty floored with all the amazing tracks here. And even me really just not getting a song like If I Were a Boy, especially when I was younger. I see the bigger picture now. I see what she was doing and trying to do with some of these songs. Her ambition at the time was more than admirable, and it paid off in countless ways further down the road. Also, just a side note quick, can I mention how insanely ahead of its time the song Diva is? Straight up, hearing it again recently, like, if someone told me the production was like an early Sophie demo or something, I'd believe them. That song is insane and deserves so much more credit for kind of pushing that wave up. It reminded me of the song Sophie produced for Madonna. Insanely better song, I hate to compare it, but it just kind of has that early Sophie wonky electronic, I don't know how to really describe her sound, but yeah, that was just a footnote. I was obsessed with that song for like a week when I discovered it again, and it's just so ahead of its time. I don't know what else to say. So again, I mentioned how this spot was a little bit hazy. It was just kind of, you know, me and my girlfriend building our beautiful relationship, and as well as me building this YouTube channel and listening to countless artists, going down all kinds of different rabbit holes for the channel, as just for music exploration, period. But Beyoncé was with me more than ever, and again, she never really left. I just slowly became a stan, and before I realized it, I'm like, I love her everything. My girlfriend and I have spent countless hours. She's showed me so many documentaries and YouTube clips and interviews of her and stuff, and she's like the most admirable artist I think in the universe. Like, just over and over and over, just being floored and insanely impressed with everything she's done. Again, like, I got her B-Day on vinyl as well. She now has Lemonade and Homecoming on vinyl as well. Looking to get that whole collection up, you know, we're gonna get there. But now here we are, just a few days from Renaissance. I'm trying to get this video out before the album drops, but we'll see how that goes. Look out for the first reaction. I am positive I will be losing my entire mind. Gonna get that video up ASAP. Break My Soul is a banger and a half. It's definitely a grower for sure, but I think it will win the world over in due time. I don't see how you could hate it, to be honest, just like most of her music. It's a bop, it's super uplifting, and as always, literally, Beyoncé gives one of the most passionate vocal performances I've heard all decade. And that's something I find more and more of in her music. Even if you're not a big fan of the song, nobody can deny that Beyoncé puts her all into everything, but especially her vocals, always just taking it as far as she can possibly go. So much power and passion, she's just belting her brains out sometimes. I'm gonna bring it back to Love on Top, like one of the best pop songs ever made, no debate. And by the end of that song, you're just like, holy fucking shit. Like, oh my god, I could make a laundry list of the most passionate and most like powerful vocal performances I've ever heard. Beyoncé would take up most of it. I can tell I'm on the verge of uncontrollable rambling, so I'm gonna try and tighten this up, but I still see so many people try to discredit her for numerous reasons, and they're all so easily debunked when you know just the slightest bit about her creative process. Oh, she has a whole team of writers and producers. What fucking pop star doesn't? And what, are we about to start discrediting fucking Billie Holiday? Fucking Nina Simone? Oh, they didn't write all their music. Who gives a fuck? Why is this a knock for people? It's like saying a rapper is automatically less talented because he doesn't make his own beats, just because there are some rappers out there who do make all of their own beats. And usually they're fucking mid. So, 3 things I want to finish this video off of. 1, it's very well known Beyoncé credits anyone for anything on a track. Just like Kanye is known for doing this and doesn't get as much flack for it as she does. If you're wearing a certain color shirt and she finds inspiration in it, you're gonna end up as a credit on the fucking album. 2, there are numerous documentaries on her and each of her albums that if you take the time to watch, it is insanely easy to see. She is the creative genius behind everything. She's the perfectionist. artist, pulling all the strings and making sure everything is being done precisely the way she wants it. And this goes for performances too, which is on a whole other level of just what the fuck. Like, take 20 minutes and see a glimpse of this absolute legend constantly doing legendary things. This woman works so unfathomably hard and is unbelievably passionate about what she does. I take it back to Homecoming. It's just kind of this stellar example of the empire she's built, the literally countless hits she has, and the insane amount of effort and, again, hard work she puts into everything she does. I usually don't let shit like this bother me, but it's genuinely sort of frustrating when people discredit hard work, period. But when it's like, oh, she's a billionaire, she just gets writers and producers and she comes in and sings and goes home. It's like, no, like, it's just so easy to see that that is not the case. Like, this girl putting in 12-hour days minimum for, again, the last like 2, almost 3 decades. And finally, I hate saying this type of shit, but I really gotta emphasize for my people who just don't get it. She is this generation's Michael Jackson. Again, oh, I know, there will never be another Michael. Of course there won't, but like, closest thing to, who the fuck else are you picking? I have said this before, and the more and more I think about it, Homecoming might be the best performance ever put on stage. And I used to argue with my girl about this. I'd be like, nah, come on, there's no Michael. And yeah, like, no one is gonna be as big as Michael Jackson ever again. But she matches Michael pretty much to a T in terms of fame, artistry, and performing. Not to compare her to anyone, because she is very much in her own legendary universe at this point. She's transcended quite literally everything. Her legacy is untouchable. She is the it girl. The biggest and most inspiring legend of our generation. I don't know who comes close, really. Like, especially in terms of the longevity. Like, yeah, you can say Kanye, Rihanna, of course. We can almost, maybe, kind of, almost start putting The Weeknd in that conversation, but no. No one's been doing it at this level for nearly this long, and has just only gotten better and better at literally everything you can imagine. I think that's all I have to say. Good Lord in heaven above. I'm positive there are things I missed because, again, the memories go back farther than I can even remember. Hi, yeah, I did forget something. So basically, Black Parade, when it came out, last year? Yeah, last year? It was my, like, single of the year. I talked about it, you can check it out, and, wow, what an amazing song. And it was all for charity. Like, again, how can you hate? Also, The Lion King, The Gift, that album was really fucking solid. There's some great songs on there. Just had to say, hey. But this is Beyonce we're talking about here. You gotta respect. I don't know. Again, it's just baffling to me. Like, I've met a very, very small amount of people who will just genuinely say, yo, I fucking hate Beyonce. And it's like, what has she done wrong? Ever. She's charitable, like, she gives back, I just can't wrap my head around it. Again, obviously, if you don't like the music, that's fine. Not every, yeah. But anyways, here I go again, just rambling. If you made it this far, I love you so much. Thank you so much. Again, I do these kind of my experience videos. I haven't done one in a while, but I do them to just give a more personal touch to the music, Share y'all my stories, my life experience living in the Beyonce world. And I beg you, please share some stories. When's the first time you heard Beyonce? Do you remember the first time being like, holy shit, this woman is God? Please, anything at all down below. I will definitely be doing a discography ranking for her once I have enough time with Renaissance. Subscribe to stay tuned so you don't miss the Renaissance first reaction. I will be losing my shit. I've said it like I'm It's just when I'm passionate about this something, I'm just gonna keep going. So I need to cut it off now. Thank you so much for watching. watching. Again, hey, join the Discord if you want to come. There's a couple Beyonce stands in there. I don't know if they're as big as me, but hey, we can all just chat about B. It's all love. It's all good vibes in there. Over 200 Ferda family members. Y'all know if y'all ain't in the Discord, you're crazy. Y'all can support me on Patreon if you want to help your boy out, make it out of the gutter, out of mama's house. Please, I beg you. But it's all love. Thank you so much again for watching. I love you all. Thank you again for watching. Y'all can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff if you like. And stream Renaissance. Like, holy fuck. I hope I get this video out before the album is out, but if it's not, much love, y'all. You won't break my soul. No cap.